Welcome back. Recently, I had the honor of speaking with the gorgeously, very talented recording artist Blanca all about her new album called The Heartbreak and the Healing. Let's take a look at our chat.
Today I have the distinct honor of speaking with Blanca. She's an award-winning recording artist, and we are going to talk all about her highly anticipated album, The Heartbreak and the Healing. Blanca, thanks for being here today. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for your time.
So tell me more about this new album. I understand that there's a lot of pain and vulnerability there.
100%. This album came out of my own personal journey of going through a divorce. And it was something that I just never envisioned having to walk through. On top of that, I had lost my mom. So prior to going through the divorce, my mom passed away from cancer. So it's like these two kind of big blows, and wishing that I had her to kind of guide me through this, but knowing that I somehow had to pull this inner strength to walk through what I was walking through. And so that's where the process really began. I started writing down almost like journal entries, what I was having to encounter, in hopes that even though I couldn't see it or understand it at the time, that somehow God was going to use all of it, and that I was going to be able to use my story to encourage others. And that's exactly what happened, which I'm so grateful for. And why this album means so much to me is because it has my personal kind of story weaved throughout. But there's a huge, huge message of just redemption and restoration, and God's like a healing way of walking us through really hard things.
How difficult was it recording this album? Would you say that it was almost too painful at times, or was it more healing and a way to work through it, or both of all of those things?
I would say all of those things, because mind you, when I started writing this, it was very fresh. I was in the middle of kind of understanding what was happening in my life. And I was getting those emotions in real time, I guess is the best way to describe it. But it's so gracious, I feel like, of God, I would say, to allow me to not do that process alone. And I had this incredible team of producers and writers that were just very, what's the word, gentle with my heart and allowing me to share in a very safe place. And so for me, I'm someone, I hate conflict. It's hard for me to express myself when it comes to just like speaking to someone or having to share about something vulnerable. But when it comes to music, it's like therapy for me. It's a way that I can express myself honestly in a real way. So this process was definitely very healing for my own journey.
And for someone who hasn't heard your music before, they're definitely missing out. But how do you explain it as a genre? It's a fusion of pop, Latin, hip hop, gospel. How do you describe it?
Yeah, it's a mix of everything, but I would definitely say it's very soulful pop influenced. I'm from Puerto Rico. I have Puerto Rican descent, which Puerto Rican making, our inner makings are, African, Spaniard, and then the native kind of Indian people that make up our culture. And so incorporating a lot of that into my music sonically has been such a joy for me to like embrace my roots and celebrate those parts of me. And then, of course, I love R&B. I love soul. I come from a group called Group One Crew, which we were kind of like a hip hop pop mix. So I just try to bring kind of the culture and the things that I love sonically into my music, along with just like real, authentic, vulnerable lyrics.
And you mentioned that this album and your music in general celebrates your roots. Tell me a little more about that. Did you grow up in a very musical family? Did you always want to be a recording artist?
Yes. I my mom didn't sing at all. She was so shy, and but she used to draw. She was an artist. And then my dad was definitely the musical bone in our family. He would always be singing and dancing around, very charismatic. And I think I take on a lot of those traits. And so when my parents ended up passing away, my dad passed to cancer, and then shortly after, my mom passed away to cancer, breast cancer. And it was like a moment for me to say, like, how do I continue their legacy? How can I, through my music and kind of my own journey, I've loved singing and dancing and doing this ever since I was a little girl, but I've kind of shied away from my roots. And my parents would always tell me, you know, Blanca, try. In Spanish, they would say, por favor, pon música latina, and try to sing in Spanish, do things for your culture, for your family. And so in this later journey of life, over the course of the last few years, I've made it a mission, a kind of like a big effort to bring in a lot of those parts into my music.
And how can we make sure to hear your new album and follow along with everything that you're doing?
Yes. So my new album is out on all digital platforms. So you can get it on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora. You can check out the videos on YouTube. You could even get an actual copy, physical copy, if you're still into that. I think it's becoming like vintage now. But you can go to my website at officialblanca.com and check out tour dates, merch, the physical copy of the album, along with so many other things. So you can get it there. And then stay connected with me on social platforms like Instagram and Facebook at Official Blanca as well.
Well, Blanca, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your vulnerability and telling us all about what it was like recording The Heartbreak and the Healing, your all new album, and talking about your roots and so much more. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.